and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So here I have another 10 pens currently inked, so I think let's go through these briefly one by one. We'll go through them in a little bit more detail and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right we have an Oldwin in the Arco Verde, we have an Oldwin in the blue Safron, we have an Armando Simoni Club Medio, and this is the Arco Brown. We have another Armando Simoni Club Medio, and this is in the Wahl side. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande in the Mediterraneo. This is a Chatterley Luxuries exclusive, and this was called the Tribal. We have a Wahl Eversharp Oversize Decoband in the Jade, a Wahl Eversharp Oversize Decoband in the Gatsby. We have a Bexley Carrol Shelby. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Cuspide in the mineral grey. And then we have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Cuspide in the Neocciola. So I think let's go through these in a little bit more detail. So this is the really beautiful Oldwin. Now, first off, I'd like to say that all of these pens here today are on loan to me from John at stjohnspens.com. So I'd like to thank John for loaning me these pens for review. If you want to check any of these out, then go and check out John at stjohnspens.com or John at stjohnspens on Instagram. So this is a beautiful Oldwin Arco Verde that he has, and I've had this inked up this week, and you can just see this Arco Verde is a really beautiful material, and this comes with a Oldwin nib. So this is an anniversary version, and you'll see here this is part of Pen Family. So that nib is an 18 karat gold 750, but it has the same ASC Gladiator and feed, and this is an anodized aluminium feed. This is a piston filling pen, so I have that one inked up this week. I also have this one, which is another Oldwin, and this is in the blue saffron material. This really is a beautiful material. You can see here it's a absolutely stunning celluloid, and you'll see here again it has another Oldwin nib, 18 karat gold nib. These Oldwins are actually pretty nice size. You cannot really post these caps, they're not designed to do so, but I do like the length of them and I like the girth. They do taper down a lot really towards the section here, and then you have these threads right at the base of the section. But I like these. I really do like these Oldwins, and I like obviously the Arco a lot more, the Arco Verde, but I do like these a lot. The next pen I have inked up is this one, and it's the Armando Simoni Club, and this is the Medio, and you'll see here, if I show you the cap band, it says ASC Gladiator or Gladiatori Medio. So Medio is the medium version, so it's not the oversized Gladiator, the Il Gladiatore. You have this cap finial here, and it says Armando Simoni Club. And this is in the Arco Brown. So this is a lot smaller than the sort of ASC Bolognas that I have. It is a nice pen. I do find that for me the section is a little bit narrow. In terms of length, this pen is about the same length as say a Visconti Homo sapiens or even the Omas Milord, the newer versions of the Milord that came out from Omas. But I do find that they are a little bit more on the thinner side for me, and the Paragon is even more thinner from Omas. So this is really designed to be very similar to I guess it was to be the Omas Paragon, but I would say this resembles more closely the Omas Milord. But it is a lovely pen. The length is really nice. I do find I have to hold this up a little bit more on the threads here, because I do find this section a little bit more on the thinner side for me. But I do like it. And so if I try and get this lined up, I will get the pattern lined up eventually. It does take a little while because there are multiple threads there. The next pen, again, is another Armando Simoni Club, and this is again a Gladiatore, and this is the Medio. So if I show you here on the cap band, it says ASC Gladiatore Medio, and it's a Bespoke 2020 edition, number 12 of 20. And this is in the wild side material. It's a really beautiful material. It is celluloid, and this has, like the Arco Brown version, it just has a standard number 6 size ASC nib, and you can see here that nib is an 18 karat gold nib. And again, like, I like the length of these pens. I do find, though, it is a little bit more on the thinner side when I get right down to the section here, so I do tend to hold it a little bit higher up. These are piston filling pens, but I do like this material a lot, and there's not a lot of this around. Same with the Arco Brown and the Arco Verde material. These are celluloids that unfortunately are no longer made, and there are only a certain amount of rods available in the world, and once those rods have been made into pens, then you will not see any more pens. So they are obviously quite a limited edition run because of that. The next one here is the Leonardo, and this is the Officina Italiana, and I can show you that here. Now this is number 3 of 6, so this is a very limited edition. So this material is a material, it's called the Mediterraneo, and this is a material that I have in another Leonardo, Officina Italiana, and that is just a regular Momento Zero. This is a Grande. Now, this material has also been made into pens by Montegrappa as well. It is a celluloid, but it's an absolutely gorgeous celluloid. So I'm glad I already have one pen in my collection with this. To be honest, I would love this one as well. Now, this, I did say, is a limited edition here of, that you can see, 3 of 6. And the reason why is this was a Chatterley Luxuries exclusive, and you can see the reason why. The cap band has a tribal pattern, and it was called the tribal pen. So this is a Chatterley Luxuries exclusive, and you can see here the nib that comes on this pen is a 14 karat gold, and this is a broad nib, and I do like broad nibs. So this pen is actually a pen that I would really like to have in my collection. Honestly, it is a beautiful pen, but likewise, I know it's not cheap. The next pen is a pen that I've been after for some time now. It's a Wahl Eversharp oversized Decoband. This is in the Jade resin, and these are the modern Wahl Eversharps, and I do love this material. This resin absolutely pops. I love that chatoyance going on there in that resin, and you can just see it there in the cap. This really is absolutely beautiful. And if I unscrew the cap, you'll see a lovely Wahl Eversharp. And this is the flexible nib, or what they used to term, I believe, the Superflex nib. And it's an 18 karat gold 750. Has a very large ebonite feed there. It really is a lovely pen, and I do like the size of this. It feels really substantial in my hand. It's long, but not as long as some of my pens are. But it's very weighty as well. And if I unscrew the body here, not all bodies unscrew, but you have the old style pneumatic filling system there, because it has a sack included. But this is a really lovely pen, and I do love this, and I've been wanting to pick one of these up for a long time, over a year now. I've just not found one that is the price that I would like. The next pen here is again another Wahl Eversharp, and this is again an oversized Decoband, but this is the Gatsby. So the Gatsby is basically made out of ebonite, not resin, and it has this lovely sort of Gatsby pattern going on there, this sort of chasing or engraving through the body. So this again is a sort of modern Wahl Eversharp pen, and it is the oversized Decoband. And again, if I take a look at the nib there, you'll see it's a Wahl Eversharp, and it's the flexible or super flex nib, and it's an 18 carat nib. So this is quite a nice nib. Has the same filling system as the Jade. It's a pneumatic filling system, or old style sack filler basically. But I like the size of these. I really do. They for me, they are the right length, they're the right size, they're the right weight, and the right girth. It's just, for me, they are great in my hand. They feel great. The next pen here is a Bexley, and this you will see is a Carrol Shelby. And this is a limited edition pen that Bexley made, and this is, as you can see there, the Shelby. If I try and get the light off of that finial, it's got a cobra in it, and you'll see the cap band here says Carrol Shelby, and it's number 28. And this is a really lovely pen. If I unscrew this, you will see it has a lovely nib there in terms of a Shelby sort of Cobra nib, because he did drive AC Cobras. And this is an 18 karat gold nib. It has a very thin profile ebonite feed there. You can see this really is a lovely pen. I'll show you the mechanism in here. It is just a standard sort of captured converter really, but it does hold more capacity of ink. So I do have that one inked up, but it is running low. So I will just close that, and then we'll move on to these two. And this one is the Leonardo Officina Italiana, and this is the Cuspide. And the Cuspide is like a, I want to say Iron Age maybe, dagger. It's certainly from medieval times, and this is what this resin, and it is resin, it's not celluloid material, is trying to capture. It's trying to capture these sort of effects going on here. Very sort of reminiscent of the Omar's Arco celluloid. These really are beautiful pens. You just see, look at the sort of material and how it shines there. So this is the Cuspide. It's in the mineral grey, and you can see there it has a Leonardo Officina nib, and it's a 14 karat gold. And these are the Yovo nibs, which Leonardo have changed to more recently, not the Bock nibs. This is a prototype as well, so it's Proto 00, but these really do feel nice in my hand. I have to say I am a little bit jealous, because these pens are pens that I did want in my collection. I didn't want to pay the price for them. I thought the price was a little bit too expensive, honestly, but for me, I'm kind of really sort of regretting that decision, because these are nice, and I don't know, maybe I might have to pick one of those up at some point in the near future. I will just have to see. The last pen here, again, is another Leonardo Officina Italiana Cuspide. This is, again, another beautiful Cuspide in more of a sort of really greenish sort of grey, and very similar, obviously, pattern in terms of the mineral grey. I would say I actually prefer the grey instead of this colour a little bit more, but that's just me. I'm sure a lot of people will prefer this one over the grey, but the grey to me does actually just speak a little bit more. So you have the custom cap band there that Leonardo have been doing lately on some pens, and you'll see again another 14 karat gold here nib, and this is a I believe a medium. Is that? I can't quite say. Yes, it's a medium. I'm trying to actually look through the camera lens at an angle when I'm recording these, so sometimes it's a little bit difficult to actually do that. Now this does have metal threads on here. It doesn't unscrew. It's a piston filling pen. The same with this Cuspide as well. But this really does feel nice in my hand, and I can post the cap as well. I like the size of this, and I like the weight, and I like the girth. It's a really nice pen. So I have that one inked up as well this week, and if I can try and get that pattern, there you go, to match up. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So the first pen is the Oldwin in the Arco Verde, and this is, I believe, the 75th anniversary. So we'll do an ink swatch here. And you can see here, this is a lovely wet nib. Now, I do find that these ASC nibs do start out very wet, but they don't, I'd say the nibs, the aluminium feeds, so they don't tend to hold ink as much as an ebonite feed. So they start out wet and then start going more of a dry nib. So this is an Oldwin, and it's in the Arco Verde. Now, this is an 18 karat gold nib, and it doesn't have a nib designation on there. I believe it's a medium nib, which tend to write more like a Western broad, but it's an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here is Diamine, Sherwood, Green, which is actually a very, very dark green ink. The next pen is again another Oldwin, and this is in the blue saffron material. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, you can see that this is a very wet writing nib. So this is an Oldwin, and this is in the blue saffron, and this is a celluloid material. It is a medium 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here today is Diamine, Ochre. The next pen is the Armando Simoni Club, and this is the Gladiatore in the Medio in Arco Brown. So let's do an ink sample or an ink swatch. And these nibs in the Medios, I tend to find a lot more finer than the, say, the Bologna nibs, or even these Oldwin nibs that you've just seen here. So this is the ASC Gladiatore Medio in the Arco Brown, and it is a medium, and it is an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here today is Acamon, and it's SBRE Brown. But that is a lovely brown ink. The next pen is again an Armando Simoni Club Gladiatore in the wild side. So let's do an ink swatch. Now, strangely enough, these two Medios are actually using the same nib, but I find this writes a little bit more on the broader side. But not as broad maybe as the Oldwin nibs there, or an ASC Bologna nib. So this is an ASC, and it's the Gladiatore Medio, and this is in the wild side, and it is a medium. Double check, yeah, there's no nib designation on here whatsoever, so I believe it's a medium, and it's an 18 karat gold nib. And then the ink in here today is Lamy Black. The next pen is a Leonardo Officina Italiana Momento Zero Grande, and it's the Chatterley Luxuries Tribal. So we'll do an ink swatch. And this does write quite broad. So this is the Leonardo. I'm going to put in here Chatterley exclusive because I'm going to run out of space otherwise. Now this is a, let me just see here, nib wise, we are looking at a broad 14 karat gold nib. So it's a broad 14 karat gold nib. And the ink in here today is Lamy Blue. Now I do find the actual cross strokes on this is a little bit more feedbacky on this nib, which typically doesn't normally happen with broad nibs, I would say. They tend to be more smoother. The next pen is the Wahl Eversharp Oversize Decoband in the Jade. So we'll do an ink swatch, and these also typically come in one nib width, and this is a medium. You can see here just how wet this nib is. So this is a Wahl Eversharp, I'm going to say Decoband, and then Jade, otherwise I will run out of space. It is a medium, and this is, I want to say, yeah, 18 karat gold nib. There were some 14 karat gold nibs of these. I remember seeing before, but this is an 18 karat gold version. And then the ink in here is Diamine Aqua Lagoon. The next pen is the Wahl Eversharp, and this is a Decoband in the Gatsby. So we'll do an ink swatch. And again, you can see that this is a very, very wet nib. So this is the Wahl Eversharp Decoband, and it's the Gatsby with a medium. It's really not a medium. 18 karat gold nib, super wet nib. And then the ink in here is Lamy Black. The next pen is the Bexley, and this is the Carrol Shelby. So we'll do an ink swatch. And you can just see here that this is quite a wet nib as well. So this is the Bexley, and it's the Carrol Shelby. and it's, I want to see the nib here. I believe it's an 18 karat gold. There's no nib designation, so I want to think that this is a medium nib. So it's an 18 karat gold nib, and the ink in here is Diamine Majestic Blue, which is a very nice blue ink. The next pen here is the Leonardo Cuspide in the mineral grey. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now these are using the newer Yovo gold nibs, not the Bock gold nibs. Now I do find that this is more on the drier side and also a little bit more, I'd say, scratchy for me. So this is the Leonardo, and it is the Cuspide, and it's the mineral grey. It's a fine nib, and that might be why it is a little bit more on the scratchy side, and it's 14 karat gold. And then the ink in here is Diamine Earl Grey. And then we have the last pen here inked up this week, and this is a Leonardo Officina Italiana Cuspide. So we'll do an ink swatch. Now, I was a little bit unclear what ink to put in here because it's kind of a greenish grey or with some undertones of brown in here. So it was whether or not I put a brown ink or a green ink in here. So this is the Leonardo Cuspide, and it's the Noccioli and it's a, I want to say a medium. It is a medium, and it's a 14 karat gold nib. Now I'd say this one definitely works a lot better than the previous nib. So the ink in here, I really didn't know what to put, but I think this ink actually matches the pen very nicely. This is Diamine Mistletoe. It does still have a little bit of a crispness on the cross strokes though. So let's take a look at these pens inked up one more time. So here we have the Oldwin in the 90th edition Arco Verde in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Sherwood Green. We have an Oldwin in the blue Safron in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Ochre. So we have an Armando Simoni Club Gladiatore Medio Arco Brown in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Akamon SBRE Brown. We have an Armando Simoni Club Gladiatore Medio in the wild side in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Lamy Black. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana. This is the Chatterley exclusive, and this is the Tribal in a broad 14 karat gold nib inked up with Lamy Blue. We have a Wahl Eversharp, and this is the Oversize Decoband Jade in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Aqua Lagoon. We have a Wahl Eversharp Oversized Decoband in the Gatsby in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Lamy Black. We have a Bexley, and this is the Carrol Shelby in a medium 18 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Majestic Blue. We have a Leonardo Officina Italiana Cuspide, and this is the mineral grey in a fine 14 karat gold nib. And then we have the Leonardo Officina Italiana Cuspide in a medium 14 karat gold nib inked up with Diamine Mistletoe. So there you have it. That's my currently ink pens for this week. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye bye.